Hey everybody, Will here from O'Reilly Auto Parts to show you how to install a car stereo, also commonly called a head unit or receiver. Today we'll be installing a stereo in a 2006 Toyota Camry, and procedures will be similar for most vehicles. You'll need to make sure that the stereo you've purchased fits the space you have to install it in, and determine whether or not an adapter kit is available for your vehicle. In this video, we'll be showing you how to wire your stereo properly with or without the adapter kit. Car stereo adapter kits are available for many modern vehicles and allow you to use your factory wiring harness connector. This is often the preferred installation method, especially in cases where you may want to reinstall your old stereo later. Hardwiring a car stereo is often necessary for older applications, and we'll be demonstrating that a little later. The first step to any car stereo installation is to disconnect the battery. Then you can remove the old stereo head unit. Depending on your vehicle, this may require removing hardware or interior trim. In other cases, you may simply need a screwdriver or a specialty stereo removal tool that you can find at O'Reilly Auto Parts. These removal tools are designed to be inserted into or next to the face of the stereo to deactivate tabs that may be holding it in place. Simply slide the tool into the holes in the face of the stereo and use the loops to work the stereo out of the dash. Once it's out of the dash, you'll need to disconnect the wiring harness or harnesses, as well as the antenna, from the back of the stereo. Now you're ready to install the new stereo head unit. We'll be installing this dual double-DIN touchscreen media center available at O'Reilly Auto Parts, but installation of single and double-DIN stereo systems should be similar. Set the old stereo aside and determine if anything else will need to be removed before installing your dash kit. Dash kits will vary depending on your vehicle, but many simply snap in place. Follow the instructions for your specific dash kit before proceeding with your stereo installation. If you have a wiring adapter kit, here's what you'll do next. Most adapter kits include the OE-style wiring connector on one end to connect to your vehicle's existing wiring harness, and may also include chimes or other hardware necessary to maintain the function of your turn signals or other indicators that previously ran through the stereo speakers. Some adapters may also already have the correct connector at the other end for the new stereo. If that's the case, you can simply plug the adapter into the wiring harness in the car, plug the other end into your new head unit, and reinstall the antenna wire. In most cases, your adapter will only have the vehicle side connector and color-coded wires to be connected to the plug supplied with your new stereo unit. Using the instructions provided with your adapter, as well as the instructions for the installation of your new stereo, carefully align the wires to ensure you know how everything is connected. Once you've determined which wires on the stereo harness align with the wires on the adapter harness, you can use wire strippers to strip the end of each wire, twist the ends of the wires, and use wire crimpers and butt connectors to secure the connection. Be sure to test each connection to ensure it's secure. If a wire pulls out or seems loose, cut the connector off, strip the wire again, and use a new connector to secure that connection. If you used butt connectors with heat shrink, use a heat gun to shrink the end of the connector over the wire itself. If you instead chose to use open-ended butt connectors, it may be a good idea to wrap the connections in electrical tape or use individual pieces of heat shrink over each connector. Now that your adapter and stereo plug have been wired together, you're ready to plug in the adapter to the vehicle's wiring harness, the plug to the back of the new stereo, and the antenna, and install the head unit in the dash. Finally, if you drive an older vehicle or are unable to locate a suitable adapter kit for your vehicle, it may be necessary to hardwire your new car stereo to the existing wiring harness. Hardwiring involves cutting or tapping into existing wiring under your dash, or in some cases, running completely new wiring. This may be necessary in vehicles that never had a radio originally, or in cases where a previous owner has significantly damaged or removed under-dash wiring that was intended for the stereo system. The first step when hardwiring your car stereo is to find a source of power and ground. This is most easily done with a wiring diagram for your vehicle, but you can also do so using a test light or a multimeter. A test light is simply connected to a good ground and lights up when it contacts a power source, whereas a multimeter will read voltage using both a power and ground probe. You can learn more about using a multimeter with this helpful video. Your vehicle's under-dash wiring often has two kinds of powered wiring, and your stereo will require both to operate correctly. You will need a continuous power source or a wire that has 12 volts whether the key is turned on or not, which is used to save radio presets when the key is turned off. You will also need to locate a switched or accessory power source, which only has 12 volts when the key is in the run or accessory position, and is used to turn the radio on when the key is turned in the ignition. Next, you'll need to locate a suitable ground wire for the stereo. Ground wires in automotive electrical systems are typically black and are often connected directly to a metal surface under the dash. This allows the circuit to complete and travel back to the ground wire of the battery. If you can't find usable ground wire under your dash, it's also possible to add a grounding wire to a grounded metal surface. Many installers will do this using a wire, a ring connector, and a self-tapping screw. You can also test for ground by connecting your test light to your 12-volt power source and then probing wires or potential grounding surfaces until the test light illuminates. Once power and ground have been established, you can begin connecting the remaining wires from your new stereo wiring. These typically include 8 speaker wires, 1 positive and 1 negative per speaker in 4-channel stereo systems, as well as optional connections like a power antenna control wire, illumination or backlighting control, amplifier remote turn-on, and even wires for connecting to existing steering wheel or external radio controls. These wires may not need to be hooked up if you don't have any of those accessories, and can simply be capped or taped to prevent them from shorting out against any ground points under the dash. If you don't have a wiring diagram for your vehicle, you may need to use your multimeter to probe potential wires and ensure you know what you're connecting the stereo to. Many installers also choose to forego the original stereo speaker wiring and install aftermarket wiring, which would need to be routed to the doors, package tray, and other areas of the vehicle and tucked securely beneath trim to prevent it from being damaged. If you have your switched and constant power source, ground, and speaker wires connected and secured, the final step is to connect the radio antenna. Older antenna connectors are relatively universal, and most modern replacement car stereos will still accept this type of antenna connection. If your vehicle has a proprietary antenna connection that does not match your new head unit, it may be necessary to install an antenna adapter to secure the connection. If your new radio came with a microphone or other accessories, ensure they are installed securely and tucked behind trim panels or secured with cable ties wherever possible. You can then connect any accessories, including microphones, amplifier, or accessory connections, and any other auxiliary components, to the rear of the head unit. Now you should be ready to slide the new stereo into the dash. Reconnect the battery, turn on the key, and test your new car stereo. If it fails to power on, or if it isn't making any noise once it does, you may have a faulty connection. Confirm that you have an intact fuse, switched and constant power, and the ground connection at the appropriate points of the radio wiring harness. You should also turn your vehicle off to ensure the radio turns off automatically, and turn it back on to ensure it's saving any presets. Finally, if you're wiring in new speakers to complete your stereo upgrade, this can be done in one of 2 ways. If adapters are available and you're reusing the factory speaker harness, it may be as simple as plugging in the adapter and then connecting the speaker terminals at the other end. Then you can mount your speaker in the door or package tray and reassemble any trim that was removed. If you're running new speaker wires, if no adapter is available, or if your factory plug is damaged, identify your positive and negative speaker wires and the corresponding terminals on the back of the speaker. Then you can choose the appropriate crimp connector, strip the speaker wires, and crimp the connector in place. Keep in mind, some speakers have different sized spade terminals on the back for the positive and negative connections. Your speakers will often come with the appropriate connectors, but ensure the proper connector is used on the appropriate wire to be certain the speaker receives the necessary signal. Once you've tested your new speakers in stereo, you should be ready to reassemble any trim or panels you removed. And that's it. You can find everything you need for your stereo installation, including stereo head units, speakers, subwoofers, wiring, connectors, and more at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com. If you aren't comfortable completing this job yourself, we'd also be happy to recommend a stereo installer in your area. We'll see you again soon.